Hello everybody, good morning. I'm going to talk to you about Atom. I appreciate you're probably not bothered about that, but I am, okay? And I make these videos really as an extension of my own life. So you can either watch it or not watch it. But and again, it's just a video. If you want to join the live stream tonight, I will talk about whatever it is that you want me to talk about. You know, the live streams are all about that. But for now, this very moment in time, I'm going to talk about Atom. Cosmos. We'll start from the monthly and we'll work our way down to the short-term timeframes because I actually think something's going to happen here. Right, so nothing amazing going on this. At first glance, the inception of the chart was basically the 360 rallied all the way up to 40, and then catastrophic collapse about 80-90%. Definitely in the 90s by the time we came back down. So a full retrace basically. Previously we hit $2 just naturally, and then in the March crash around $1 in the big panic sell. This time round we've only ever really come down to this level, the 360, with giant bullish divergence. I say giant, it's only one drive. The reason I say giant is because you've never seen it before. Right? It's never been present on the chart before, and it's on a monthly. So you see any divergence reads on any time frame, you kind of expect some good stuff, or should be thinking that some good stuff could happen. But you see it on a monthly, whether it's bull or bear, get ready for the big time. Here's our bearish divergence on the money flow index on the monthly in the previous bull market. One bearish divergence there. The RSI, one bearish divergence there, effectively marking the top and then sparking a pullback of basically 89% and eventually 92%. So bearish divergence and bullish divergence, I do count them for a fair bit. And if we have a look, it hasn't registered because the indicators are slightly broken sometimes. But there is a bullish divergence on the money flow index and on the RSI, similar to how there was bearish divergence on the RSI and on the money flow index. So we'll take it, all right, because it exists. Now the only problem is, when's it going to move? Why isn't it moving? It did a 90% in the bear market. Well, it took a little bit of time, by the way. It did take a bit of time, but it's there. It's present on the chart. That's all. I'm just pointing it out. Same thing over here on the weekly. You've got bullish divergence, one to here to here. You've got basically two drives. Same thing with the money flow index, but yet price is still more or less static. You could call it an accumulation. Accumulating basically, a sideways range above the center of a Bollinger Band, ever so slightly. You know, it's neither here nor there. We're sort of floating around moving averages within a bit of a range. It's roughly around a 45% range, I believe, roughly, give or take. Yeah, about 45% range, which is a tight range for an accumulation. And so if it breaks out of here, it's been in here now since January. It's been in here almost a whole year, floating around this area. It reminds me a little bit of Chainlink of how that accumulated in a sideways range, and the longer you accumulate, the larger the breakout, the more swift and vicious the breakout. Now, other than the bullish divergence here and the potential accumulation and the sideways static price action that will be coiling up ready for a big move, it's easier to mark off certain resistances from here. So obviously we've got the top of the accumulation range giving you an 18% move to around about 540, which is obviously your first major area of resistance. Beyond that, you've got a 200 exponential moving average, all part of a death cross, which is basically $8.14. And then you got this trend line, which is all part of a giant descending triangle, huge one, as well as the 200 simple moving average, around about $10.80. All of those are realistic targets in the form of this current downtrend, so you're basically dead cat bounce type vibes. It's only when these things get broken then you get more serious moves. So I just wanted to put that to you now while you see it clearly on a weekly. So those are the initial moves that could easily get rejected from any one of these. Now, things start to get a little interesting when you move down to a daily. And look, I'm not presenting this because I'm some Atom shill. I'm just showing you something. Don't watch this and go, I'm buying Atom right now. The man on the internet said he liked it. No, I own plenty of this. Basically, roughly, I'd say give or take from this price. You know, roughly around $4. I've been buying it around $4. over and over and over again, shoving it on Swissborg, staking the hell out of it, and I'm prepared to hold it for 10 years. You've probably heard me talk about it before, my Atom pension plan. It's a wild card. So just remember what it is that I'm saying. I'm not saying, you buy it, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, and it's just an observation. But here's a weird observation. So obviously things have been sideways for a long time here now, and moving averages are all sort of blending together, making the short-term time frames hard to trade, because bulls nor bears have really got an edge on this one. The bulls have got it for 1 minute, the bears have got it for the next minute, but basically no one's really got proper control. It's probably slightly more bearish than bullish, but there is something that's happened. And yes, I know my chart looks messy, but trust me, it is all relevant. We have this purple 50 simple moving average, and this 200 simple moving average being the yellow, forming a golden cross over here. So we've had a golden cross a few weeks back. Now it's weak as hell, and it's not, anything other than just a golden cross that probably doesn't materialize into anything special, but it is happening. And what happens is when the price action gets condensed and the Bollinger Bands start to pinch, which they are, from the bottom to the top, we're talking a 13% move, 13% range, which in crypto is quite small for a daily, but it can pinch smaller than that. The move is likely to pop at some point soon. Now, we don't have anything on the itchy cloud. We went bullish here, we went bearish here. We're still technically in bearish territory, but something I believe is about to pop off. Now, when we move over to the 4 hourly, the shorter term time frames, leading portion of the cloud green, conversion baseline cross here, which is fine. Now price action is above the cloud. We're waiting for the cheeky span to break above the cloud, which will happen at some point today or tonight. If we can hold this price or higher, you get pump signal. Pump signal should take you towards $5, and again, 540 being the next major area, but $5 flat is also an area. Incoming golden cross as well. So if you get that golden cross at some point today, which I find very, very almost guaranteed that you'll get that, and you pull back into it, the support is $4.50. That's an area to think about taking a position. Just in a short-term trade, really, that could materialize into a small move into 5s to 540. It could potentially be the all-time low. That's quite a stab in the dark, really, to imagine it would be an all-time low. Right, so let's have a quick look at the Atom to Bitcoin chart, and then we will leave it there. And if you want to join the Patreon, we can do more. We can talk about Atom all night if you want. Right, Atom to Bitcoin. I don't want that one. Let's go to Binance's chart. Right, so what we already see on Atom to Bitcoin is golden cross all the way back down here, and a retest of it all the way down here. So at the moment, what we're doing is it looks like we're trying to attempt a V-shaped recovery on the 4 hourly for the Bitcoin pair. Okay, so it's more bullish than you'd expect. Yes, this has been doing quite well versus its Bitcoin pair. That's just a nice anecdotal thing to reflect on, but it's been stronger than Bitcoin for a little while now. Leading portion of cloud green, cross down here. We're waiting for the GQ span, similar to the USDT, to break out from here. So we're getting close for a pump signal. Should take you to roughly 425 sats to begin with. The target on that move really would be about 450 sats. But that's just a 4 hourly. Let's keep it going. Right, now you can see some really tight stuff going on. So I don't know what this trend line's in here for. It must be from a long time past. So what are we seeing over here? Well, things are getting a bit more interesting because we're above the cloud. Now the Chico span is above the cloud as well, and we've had a negative cross above the cloud, which is no big deal. If we can hold above the cloud, we're looking for a positive cross to kick in again, and that would give you a trend signal. So this is starting to work its way out. We've not been above the cloud in quite a while now, and this has crept outside of the cloud in a sideways and up fashion rather than a pump fashion. So things are starting to change here in the daily. While being above 408 sats, you have every chance of being supported on there and making your way to 445, 450, potentially 465. And when you get above those boys, that's when the power starts. So we're starting to see a little bit of shift taking place here, even on the Bitcoin pair. Now sideways and down, Wreck City chart. This is absolutely horrendous and terrible looking thing, really. There's nothing special about this one at the moment. There's really nothing special. You had some bullish divergence here, and I suppose you could still consider that to be bullish divergence as well. And the money flow index didn't play ball, and it's still quite high. So the volume is extremely low on this. There's not really any rotation manipulation taking place whatsoever for this chart here. Nothing at all. However, it's flat as a pancake. We're talking about a weekly here, so we've already recognised that the 4-hourly and the daily have got decent setups, and the weekly is still below the 20 weekly, so that's no good. And from the bottom to the top, it's a 38%. So the weekly's not really got it in the same way that we've seen it on the USDT pair. And we'll move over to the monthly, and the monthly really does not have anything going for it. So, but there's criteria here. So we've seen in the short term 450, 500 sats. Okay, we can get to there easily enough. What you really want to see would be Atom getting its way above 900 sats, 1,000 sats. That would start something brand new for it. But right now, the highest term timeframes on the Bitcoin pair do not have anything going for it. The shorter terms do. Shorter term more bullish than Tether. Higher term, Tether is more bullish. Right, that's quite a long video for a chart that you probably have no interest in. But I'll leave it with you there. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.